Okay, everybody, welcome. This is Vincent St. Louis. It is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope you're having a great start to your day. It is Friday. Every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have our team call, so I appreciate you getting on here. 48 agents have joined our team in the last 30 days, so congratulations to everybody out there building and sharing. I'll share with you guys a little story that I heard that it was interesting, which goes into play what I talk about all the time. So back in the early 1900s, there was a tent revival going on, and two young 14-year-old boys were walking by and heard the ruckus and the preaching going on. They walked into this big tent where the preacher was up there preaching, and they looked around and noticed that there was no seats available. And so the two boys turned around and started walking away. Well, an unknown usher, which we don't know his name, he ran over to them and said, "Hey, come in here. I can find you some seats." And he brought them in and had some people move over and sat these two young 14-year-old boys down in the seats. And they experienced a revival and gave their lives to the Lord at that revival, of like 1930 something. And one of those young boys, guy which we all know as Billy Graham, which arguably probably changed the lives of more people, preached to more people the gospel than any other person in life. The other little boy was his friend, which in turn ended up being the guy that organized all of Billy Graham's revivals and events and whatnot. But really the person that changed the world the most was the usher. See, our job is not to change the world. Our job is to change somebody's world. We don't know the whole story, whether Billy Graham would have been Billy Graham without that usher, without going to that event. We have no idea. But as Billy Graham tells his story, that was a life-changing thing, and nobody knows this usher's name. They were young kids. They weren't paying attention. They didn't think the life was going to change like that. But it did, and changed not just Billy Graham's life, not just his friend's life, but the life of millions and hundreds of millions of other people. And I love that story because it goes back to what I've said so many times is we have no idea. You have no idea. You just think, oh, I'm just helping somebody buy a home. I'm just helping somebody sell a home. But you have no idea what the impact of your participation in this period of their life may be, and how instrumental it may be. The guys that helped me, we're still at this. I've only bought one home, and I'm still in it. And I was a young kid and building houses, and this guy's sitting on the hood of my car or the bed of my truck is actually what I was doing, sitting on the toolbox of my truck at lunchtime and or break time or whatever time it was, and I was sitting there, and some guy drove up, asked me if I owned a home. I'm like, no, I don't own a home. I can't afford to buy a home. He said, well, there's deals out there. There's things we can help you. It's first-time buyer programs and whatnot. And this dude found us a home, and we're in that home 20, 30 years ago or so. And I've never heard from that guy ever again. I don't know, but I raised our children here, a couple of our grandchildren here in this home. It's means something. My wife and I, this home does, and our kids and our grandkids, and so we don't know the effect of your doing your job or doing what you do. And if you take that to a whole new level of building revenue share, of expanding, you have no idea. You have no idea the impact. Every time you choose the hard path over the easy escape, you build the scaffolding of an unshakable life. Now, I've talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, I talked about the fact of the challenges that I've been going through, getting back into making my calls. And I took off on this little trip and took me out of my game again because I was off on Monday. And every time you do that, every time you get out of the methodology, your daily method of operation, it's hard to start back up again. It was hard for me to go to the gym yesterday because I didn't go to the gym all week. But anyways, getting back to my calls has been a challenge, and forcing myself to do it. But every time, this is the thing you have to understand. It's important. It's very important, and I've experienced myself in many times. Every time we choose to do the things we don't want to do, but we know we need to, we do our daily method of operation. We force ourselves to do it. It builds on the next time we do it. But also the same thing happens if we choose to not do the things we need to do. It also builds on that. Now it becomes a way of life. And if we want a different way of life, if we want a different outcome, because all we have is today. Yesterday's dead. We're born one day. We're going to die one day. It's just one day. All we have is one day. Tomorrow is not even born yet. Yesterday, you're too late. It's dead. So all we have is today. So if you want a different tomorrow, we have to take advantage of what we have today. And we have to start doing the things that we know we need to do, even as little as it might be. And the other thing is we all do. I do it all the time. I catch myself doing it all the time. I'm busy doing a lot of stuff that does not get me where I want to go. Because why? Let's be honest with myself. Let's be honest. Let's put our big boy pants on, big girl pants on. Let's look in the mirror. I'm avoiding the things I need to do. I'm checking my email again for the 20th time this 15 minutes. I'm doing this. I'm whatever. I'm avoiding the things I need to do. The more we get laser focused on the task that needs to be done, maybe it's 1, 2, 3 things that you have to do today, and you write those 2, 3, 4 things, whatever it is. All the rest of it is noise. Focus on just those main tasks you need to do that's going to move the needle in your life, move the needle in your family's life, move the needle in somebody else's life. If you focus on just those, and you can mark those things off every day, accomplished, accomplished, accomplished. You will build the scaffolding to an unshakable life. You'll build a life that you don't understand and you don't recognize today, because it'll be so great and so large that it's hard to even comprehend. Why? Because you've never been there before. You've never been there before because you've never done what got you here today is not going to get you there. If you're happy where you are and you're sitting and this is your happy place, and that's fine. I believe in the bottom of my heart that that's disrespectful to your maker, your creator, whatever it is you believe in. I think it's disrespectful for your family. I think it's disrespectful for your existence. Because why? Because we are destined for greatness. We as human beings thrive. We're designed to reach out and have something more, to become greater, to become something that's inside. Even though you've never felt that way about yourself, there's something inside of you that needs to be let out and needs more. Choose the hard path over the easy escape. You build the scaffolding of an unshakable life. Every time you say no to the mediocrity and yes to your higher self, you are getting rich. Every time you say no to mediocrity and yes to your higher self, you are getting rich. Because it's a building block. It's a consistency. You're building the steps every time you do that. Every time you do something, every time you focus on the thing you need to do, every time you make your calls, every time, if that's what your goal is, every time you sit down and you force yourself to, you got your script in front of me and you're nauseous, you're uncomfortable, you got anxiety. Every time you push yourself to do the things that you know you need to do to get you where you want to go, every time you do that, it builds another building block. Every time you do that, you're getting rich. Not today. It's down the future. It's down the path. Have you ever looked at a railroad track and you see railroad tracks? And have you ever stood on one And as the further away it gets, the closer the tracks get. Your destiny is out there. The difference is, if you keep walking down a railroad track, they never come together. The destiny stays out there. In real life, you do the things that you know you need to do. Every time you do the hard stuff, every time you do the things that the 1, 2, 3 things that you got to focus on today, every time you do that, your destiny becomes closer. And you don't know how far away it is. Probably closer than you think. As long as you keep saying no to mediocrity and saying yes to your higher self, as long as you keep choosing the harder path instead of the easy path, as long as you continue to do the daily method of operation that you need to do to get you where, as long as you keep doing it, I promise you, the outcome will be greater than you think. I've told the story many times before of years ago when I got into network marketing and I was in a company called Monavi, and I'm just not an outgoing person. You know, you put me in a room with people and I'm supposed to meet people and say hello and shake hands and meet people. I'm just not that guy. It's just never been me. I'm a pretty shy person. I'm not going to walk up to a stranger and shake their hand and introduce myself and talk to them. It's never been me. And so I just, you know, I wanted the reward. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted passive income. I wanted residual income. I wanted to build something greater than me. I wanted the acclimates of winning. I wanted to be proud of myself. I wanted all those things. I just didn't think people like me, I'm just not that guy. People like me can't win at this. You know, you got to be an outgoing person. You got to be the kind of person that goes out there and meets people. And, you know, you got to meet a lot of people. You got to talk to a lot of people to build a business like that. It's not about selling product. It's about recruiting. And so I decided that this was not for me. And I went back to my mediocrity of just building houses. This is my life. I'm just going to build houses for the rest of my life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Made a good income, supported my family, bought a home, had fun, bought a lot of toys. But my sponsor at the time said, just give it till tomorrow. If you still feel the same way, then you can quit. He said, don't let the devil win. And the devil was the negative thinking, myself, the inner thought of me telling me I couldn't do it. And then that night, I you know, had some thoughts, and I'd be like, well, let's look at this, Vincent. These are my conversations. Are you doing, because there was 8 steps that you needed to do on a daily basis. One of them was you got to read every day. You got to show up to events. The 8 steps, you had to at least talk to one person a day about your opportunity. Or maybe it was 2, I don't remember what it was. But there was 8 basically things that you needed to do. And are you doing all those? Well, I'm reading almost every day. I'm listening to positive stuff almost every day. I was going to events when they had them. There was one a month at least. I'm doing that. I wasn't prospecting regularly. So I made a determined decision at that point in time that I was going to do the things that I needed to do on a regular. I was going to do those things every day. Come hell or high water, I was doing them. I forced myself to do the things that I didn't feel comfortable with. I would force myself to go out there and say hello to people that I'd never met before. I forced myself to do the hard things because I wanted to prove to everybody else that people like me can't win at this. I wasn't the good-looking guy, the bubbly girl, I wasn't that person. And I was there to prove to myself, take me out of the equation. This does not work for people like me. And it was October, I don't remember the year. By April, I was making $20,000 a month. I had a team over 10,000 distributors in that company. I affected the lives of thousands of people. I've spoke on stage of 20,000 people. I did my own event, flew in millionaires and paid for their hotel, their plane tickets, and did events of hundreds of people and 3-day events. And what's that? That's 6 months. 6 months from nothing to that. Not because I'm so great. Not because I was that person. Not because I was the person that had the bubbly attitude, the personality. It was not that. Because on a daily basis, I chose to do the hard path. Chose to do it and do it even though I did not believe it was possible. I did not believe it would happen. I did not believe that a person like me could do it. But I did the steps anyways, and the outcome was astronomical. EXP is the exact same way. I didn't sell any real estate. I didn't even have a license. I knew nothing about real estate. I didn't know you guys worked for a broker. I didn't know you had a split. I didn't know anything. And my good friend of 30-some years, Brent Gobe, showed me EXP, and I said, no, not for me. I'm not interested. I'm busy. The wife said, no, I think you're supposed to do this. This is what God's been preparing you for. I'm like, all right, well, what do I have to do? I got to get a license. Well, I haven't taken a test in forever. I barely made it out of high school. How hard is this thing? Oh, it's hard. They said, it's difficult, but you can do it. So I took the test, and I passed the test the first time, and I got my license. And then what did I do? I had to figure out how to talk to agents. And I cold called agents every day, 5 days a week. Went to open houses on Saturdays and Sundays to meet agents. And I put my head down. I did the hard things. It was tough. It was hard. If you've ever cold called, try doing that for 4.5 years, not 6 months like the last time. I wish it was 6 months. I thought it was going to be 6 months. It was harder than I thought. But you know what? Every day I did it. I built the building blocks to the next step. I built the building blocks to out of mediocrity. I built something, and then there was people started joining, and this person joined, this person, then Tess joined, and then Tess shared it with Jeffrey DeJesus, and then we drove to the Bay Area twice a week, every week for 2 years. Me and Brent blessing the lives of agents in the Bay Area, and then Barton got in, and we were doing it in Petaluma, and we're driving to Petaluma now for Bay Area, Daly City, San Jose, Walnut Creek. We would all day, twice a week. We would spend the whole day driving around, Petaluma, doing meetings and stuff for years. Just kept at it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then Bill Campbell gets in, and that's almost 2 years before we got into South Africa. Bill Campbell and Barton kept believing. I gave up. I'm completely transparent. And I gave up. I didn't think it was going to happen. But they did. They didn't give up. They kept believing. They kept believing. They kept believing. And it all starts building the scaffolding Unshakeable life. Because you believe, even if you don't believe it like I didn't, join that network marketing company, I didn't believe that I could do it. I believed it could be done, and I believed that if these steps were the steps you need to do, if you did them consistently enough, a blind squirrel can find an acorn. I believe that. I still believe that to this day. I still believe that you could be horrible and still find somebody. You could say the wrong thing to the right person at the right time in their life, and they will join you at EXP. I believe that. There's nothing in my being that does not believe that there's no way you're the last person in the world that wants to join EXP. There's no way that if you don't talk to enough people, you can't find somebody to join you. It's just not possible. And so then if that's true, you're not the problem. The solution to the problem. The solution is you choose to do the hard path, say no to mediocrity, do the hard things, do the things that you need to do on a daily basis, and find those people and change the life of other people like that usher did. That one day in North Carolina or South Carolina in the 1930s, when these two 14-year-old boys walked into the tent and then turned around to leave because there was no seats. Kind of reminds me of the no room in the inn and the manger and the Bethlehem, you know. Somebody said, here, in the inn, stay here in my barn. Hey, don't leave. Come here. Sit down. There's seats for you here. You doing the action like that usher did, that's his job. That's what he was doing. He was ushering people and finding seats for people. He wasn't going to let these two little 14-year-old boys leave. Your job is not to change the world. Your job is to change somebody's world. And in turn, you will also change your world in a big way. And you should. We should become more than we want to be. We should try to become greater than what we are. We should try to build on who we are, what we are, and become something different tomorrow, better for society, better for your family, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your spouse. Become something better for tomorrow. And in the doing of the things that you need to do, tomorrow will arrive someday, and you will be someplace different. You will be on that unshakable life. You will see the rewards, the riches, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, the riches of what you give society, because now you're able to help your community, your church, your family, your whoever, because now you have abundance. It's amazing what Brent does with the money he makes. It absolutely blows my mind. I'm like, man, he is such a giving person. Is that you? I'm not that guy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are things that you can do, that I can do, that having abundance can be done. So anyway, I hope this helps somebody. I hope you find the power within to do the hard path, the easy escape, scaffolding of an unshakable life for you and your family and the people around you. God bless you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you have a blessed weekend. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Appreciate you.